Welcome to a pod practice series where we will be previewing the 2023 Club Nationals by interviewing a player from each of the top 4 teams in the division and getting their thoughts and their mindsets going into the tournament. I hope you enjoy.
This episode is brought to you by Kiko Socks. With a pair of Kikos, you'll have an experience that keeps you focused on your performance and not your feet. Use our coupon code POD15 for 15% off your order at kikosocks.com.
I hope you guys enjoyed the pod. Be sure to follow us on Instagram or YouTube at podpractice_pod. Email us at show@podpracticepod or listen on Spotify at podpractice.
All right, what's up, everybody? Today we got a man who needs no introduction, Christian Boxley, one of my favorite players to watch and play against, and one of my favorite teammates on our U24 cycle. Hi, Box. How's it going?
It's going well. Thanks for the kind words.
Of course. Jumping right in here. Truck obviously been a juggernaut the last couple years here. Just curious how you're feeling going into nationals, what the expectations are like as being a 1 seed again. I guess the 1 seed again. So just curious how you're feeling, what the expectations are like.
Feeling good as a team, I think last year, going to nationals, it all felt pretty new, having these large expectations, being the 1 seed for the first time. This time around, I think we know how to better manage those expectations and know how to put our best foot forward for nationals. So practices has still been hard. We've just started tapering down this past Wednesday. So our past Wednesday was our last full practice. I know individuals are getting like their last lifts in, their last track workouts. So I think overall feeling pretty good and excited to see what's to come.
Yeah, on that note, do you know which games you're most excited for yet, and who you feel is your biggest competition going into Natties?
Yeah, I think this year in particular, there are a lot of teams who have aspirations to win a championship. I could name probably like 10 teams off the bat right here who think they're in great position to bring home the gold. So I don't think there's one team. I mean, obviously excited to play y'all and get some revenge from last year. Ring always gives us a great game. Dark Star, I've never played them, but it's not easy coming out of that region, finishing second. So I think if I had to pick one team, it'd probably be y'all, but honestly excited for the entire weekend.
Well, we'll take that as a compliment.
Yeah. I'm curious. People are calling our pool Death Pool, Pool A. I don't know. What do you think about that? Do you think it's Death Pool because Bravo's the 3 seed, because Truck's the 1 seed? We got the 5 seed. What do you think? What do you think Death Pool is looking like?
It's for sure a hard pool. Like looking at those other pools, I think some of them are a little easier, to be honest. We're obviously a great team. Ring won the championship 2 years ago, and has brought back a lot of the same players as last year. Obviously missing Jack and Ryan and a few others, but still a very talented team. Y'all won the championship last year. Like, it's a tough pool. Dark Star, like I just said, came second in the region over Furious and Sockeye. So it's going to be a tough pool. I'm excited for the fireworks to start early this year.
Before I ask my question, I just want to comment on how put together you look as a whole. Like, not only you as a person, but also like your backdrop, like your room and everything looks very like.
Yes, sir. Got a little bit of greenery. Got the pictures up.
Yeah, and like they're like perfect, and like you have 4 in a square, and like the room is white. It's like very futuristic. Yeah. Like. Yeah. Okay. My question will be like, what kind of matchups are you looking forward to? Individually, who do you get excited to play against? Who are you thinking about, at practice when you're cutting really hard or something like that?
Just in general, so we can include my own teammates?
You could, but no, more in terms of like teams you're going to play. Like, who are you excited to play against?
Yeah.
Who do you want to fuck up?
Let's see. Yeah. So I'll start with Yaw. I know like Chance obviously will match up on me at some point, and Chance and I go way
Oh, yeah.
back, and that's always a lot of fun. I don't know all your players. I know number 9 matched up on me. I like his vibes. What's his name?
Number
Y'all
9.
know?
Who is number 9? I'm looking him
Yeah.
up right now. I
I don't
should
know the
feel
numbers.
bad
Oh,
for
you don't even know
no,
your
Is
you're
I
that
don't
right.
know
players?
the numbers of my
is
players.
that Artie?
Oh, it is Artie.
He's a
It
young
is
guy.
Artie, yeah.
Oh, this year. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
Yeah.
already. Yeah.
Artie's
Yeah.
fast as shit.
Yeah. I like him. I like his vibe. So I expect to get him a couple times. I got number 13, Saeed. Is that his name?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah.
Got him a couple times when we played at US Open. So I think all those defenders have different strengths. So excited to kind of bring what I bring to the table to each of those matchups. Against Ring, I get a lot of AD. He's super fast. He trusts that he can, force me out. So it's always a tough matchup because I like to be around the disc a little bit. And then Dark Star, don't know too much, which is kind of a challenge in that I don't know who the defender is going to be. I don't know what their mindset is going to
Right.
be going in. So that might be the biggest challenge, even of just getting kind of like an unknown defender who I've never played against and matching up against them.
Sticking on the matchup train, and I'm breaking my own rule on going on tangents here, but do you how do you attack different defenders? Like, do you actively think about the type of defender that's guarding you and try to change up your style, or do you just kind of play your game?
All right, the scouting gets you right now. All right.
As much as you're willing to share right the
Or
week
just
before
in like
last year.
or just in like a broad sense, like how much do you think about changing your play
Yeah,
style
yeah.
based on different matchups?
Um,
Or do you just play
I'll
the
speak
same way?
generally. I try. So like y'all know frisbee. There are a bunch of different things that need to happen on a field to be successful, and I think I'm really good at a few of those things. So depending on the matchup, if I have maybe like a bigger matchup, maybe I'm more around the disc. If I have somebody who's a little smaller, maybe I'm that primary deep look. So it depends. I think it more depends on how I'm being played in a moment versus the actual matchup, because
That makes sense.
somebody like Chance can play me a certain way one point, and then play me a certain different way, and a totally different point. So it's really in the moment how I'm being played, with kind of in the back of my mind how this defender usually plays me, and what strengths they bring, kind of in the back of my mind.
Go ahead.
I got something on it because when I watch you play, you always get like the speedster defender, which me as a player I'm envious for. Like maybe teams don't deem me fast enough to get their speedsters, but I think putting a speedster on you is the wrong choice. Like you're incredibly fast, but I think you're too smart and too well timed of a cutter for speedsters to do an effective job on you, is what I've seen. People like
Mm.
AD, people like Antoine. I feel like you just eat them alive just because your timing and your cutting is just too precise for them. And that's why I think someone like Chance, like a little bit of more of a heady defender, maybe not quite as fast, does a better job. I don't know. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, there have been a few moments where like Chance has mirrored my hips perfectly, and it kind of took me by surprise, because usually when I make a really hard move, I'm
Yeah.
open. So yeah, I think it really depends on what the team's defense is trying to do outside of my matchup. So if a team is bringing a bunch of deep help, maybe that defender can be a speedster who like forces me out to the help. So I think it depends on what the team defense is looking like, but for sure, those heady defenders who get me dancing a little bit can get me in trouble.
Who's faster, you or AD?
Oh, AD for sure. I'm actually not that fast. If you look at the
Give me a
film,
break, man.
I'm not that fast. The feet move quickly, but I'm not that fast.
I just watched your game against Ring yesterday. It was a give go, I think, but you beat AD by a good 5 steps for like a little upline goal on the backhand sideline. So you're looking fast in that moment.
I don't know. I'm expecting AD to be full AD by the time.
Hey, you
that
guys are
happens,
giving
so.
AD some real bulletin board
I know,
material.
yeah.
If this
Yeah,
comes out
man. AD,
before.
you're one of the top defenders. Yeah, AD, you're one of the top defenders. Don't let these guys try and hype you up, turbocharge you.
Quinn, I think you're up.
Sweet, yeah. All right. getting away from you as a player a little bit and getting into like your team a little bit more. What are your guys' goals for the weekend? Obviously, winning is a great goal to have, but beyond winning, like what are the goals looking like?
Yeah, so winning championships obviously a big goal, but besides that, um, I think getting close with our teammates. We've had this long season, and I always see nationals as like a culmination or a celebration of all that hard
Mm.
work over the past. A lot of us played in the UDL, so over the past like 9, 8 months, right? So celebrating our teammates, getting closer with our teammates, um, and just having a lot of fun. You know, we practice and train so hard to be in these big moments. So just embracing that and being present
Mm-hmm.
in those moments, regardless of the
Mm-hmm.
outcome, is a goal of mine. I think a goal of a lot of my teammates. Also, there's probably the best fish taco place I've ever been
Oh,
to
Ooh,
on Mission Beach.
what's it
So
called?
goal is, I don't remember what it's called, but if I was walking on the street,
is
I would be able to
does
tell you exactly
Oscars
where it
sound
is.
familiar?
Is it Oscars?
I don't think it's
That's where
Oscar.
we go.
That's our spot. That's the Colorado spot. Is
Uh,
Oscars.
all right. Well, I'm gonna keep my spot on the
Yeah,
down low,
yeah.
so it
Gatekeep
doesn't
your
get too
spot.
much
Yeah.
traffic. Yeah.
Um,
So hitting up that spot's another goal of mine,
Heck yeah.
and just having fun after the tournament. A lot of us stay after for a day or two, so
Nice.
enjoying those moments together after the season is something I really look forward to.
I should maybe not publicize Joe Durst's favorite little cantina. It's kind of bougie, but we can always edit this out. If you have enough time, you should check out En Fuego Cantina and Grill. It is it is a little upscale, I would say, but I would go in after games with a sun hoodie, and we call it a Durst. It's it's when you order a Pacifico or Modelo, a Mexican lager, and a shot of tequila, which
Ooh,
uh, Joe will sip on slowly.
The shot.
sip on the shot or sip on the
On
beer.
the shot, he's savoring
The
both.
shot. Okay.
Was Joe one of your coaches on your cycle?
Mhm.
So, okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, he was.
Sweet. You kind of already answered this, but curious, how would you define a successful weekend? You know, whether or not you win.
I think in a lot of ways. So outside of the competition, kind of what I touched on of leaving nationals a closer team than when we got there.
Mm-hmm.
I think that would kind of define a lot of success for me. Um, I think playing in a big game and knowing that we gave her all with no regrets on, man, I should have hit that last track workout. I should have hit that last lift. I should have done X, Y, and Z on the field, and that could have helped change the outcome. So playing in a big game where all those feelings kind of go away and we can embrace that we gave everything we could in that moment. I think regardless of the outcome, I would find that to be a
Mm-hmm.
success. Obviously winning a championship, that's the success of all these successes. But if we get those other things on the side, I think still a successful weekend.
And then maybe one bonus question for me is, do you have any insight or advice for young teams or young players, maybe teams trying to break into the next level, or young players that are trying to reach the elite level, or even make a strong college team?
Yeah, for sure, for sure. So just my playing background really quickly. I didn't play any youth ultimate at all. Didn't play any youth frisbee. Started playing in college at Georgetown and like climbed the club ranks, so to say. So started playing Medicine Men, which is a men's team outside of Baltimore, and then made Truckstop um, maybe 5 years ago at this point. So with that came a lot of work, obviously, and I think really finding time to play the highest level frisbee you can find as often as possible is like the number one way to get better. So, like running a track workout is great, but it doesn't make you better at frisbee. It can make you faster, which could lead to you being better at Frisbee, but it doesn't directly make you better at Frisbee. Same with like lifting and watching film, like all those things can lead to other things that make you better at Frisbee, but it's not a direct path in the way that playing Frisbee as often as you can at the highest level. Like you see those gains so quickly, and they, in a lot of ways, like it's a positive feedback cycle of, okay, I mastered this part of my game, or like I got this part of my game really good. These good players are taking that away, so now I need to figure out a counter to that, and then I need to figure out a counter to that counter, and it all kind of cycles together, and can kind of accelerate your growth as a player.
That's a good answer. You got to play. You just got to play.
Yeah.
Kind of going off that, I'm curious, since you didn't play Youth Ultimate, and I feel like there's like been a lot of like all ADL released a list of like their top 20 players or whatever before the season, and you weren't on it, and everybody's like, this is bullshit, because it was. I'm curious, like how, like if you pay attention to any of that stuff, because I think everybody that's played with you is like, yeah, this guy's like an incredible player, but for some reason the ADL or Ultiworld didn't recognize that until like recently, for whatever reason. Just still to this day, like when people ask me like about U24s and like who's the hardest person to guard in U24s, like it was you for me. Like you were the hardest person to guard. Like we had like great players on that team, like Eric Taylor, Henry Fisher, like whoever. I had the most trouble guarding you on that team, and everybody knew on that team that you were like an elite player, but all of these like media outlets never really recognized that. I'm curious if that like fueled you at all, and like kind of just about your ascension to like the top of the game.
Yeah. It's something that I notice, but I don't really need additional fuel or any additional motivation to reach the level of play that I know I can reach. I get that fuel from my teammates and teammates who I also call some of my best friends, like multiple times a week, and when I see them posting in our Slack and all that. So it's not, any media stuff I don't pay too much attention to. I think it's funny when
Me too.
Like people get riled up. Yeah, when people get riled up, and I think it's like fun to talk about in ways that aren't taking it too seriously. Because at the end of the day, like we all put a bunch of time and energy and money and effort into the sport, but it's not something that we need to take overly seriously. Like I don't have to be like, I can't believe I wasn't on so and so list. Like how dare they? Like it's not something that really matters.
I'm predicting the Box makes first team this year.
We'll see. I mean, Truck has a lot of good players. If we get, Johnny, Tyler, Rowan, I feel like they're all up there too. So we'll see. If we can bring home the championship and I'm off the
Who gives a shit?
I would be a very happy person.
That's probably why Kins and Quinn made the first and second team last year.
Kins was second, yeah. Yeah, I mean they always pick from the teams who make finals or semis, and then Joe White for the first team. It's Joe White and then all the other guys on the team that made finals.
Hot take: if Joe White doesn't have a first team all club performance, then Machine will do well at nationals.
Ooh, okay.
Ooh.
That would be funny.
Ooh.
That'd be interesting. Box, I just wanted to ask, what kind of plays is Truck's offense going to be running at nationals? Like any different D-looks that you guys are going to be? Just if you could like diagram those up, maybe, because I know the viewers are interested.
Yeah. Let me get the audience something to kind of think about. So I think it's going to be a lot of Cole and Tyler winning a bunch of unders. I think it's going to be me going deep a couple times, Rowan throwing Oyos, Johnny throwing some hucks, A-Roy breaking the mark, Gus getting open on any reset defender, and Jock throwing blades.
That's a great answer.
Okay, yeah, actually very accurate.
How much force middle have you guys been running against each other at practice? Just constantly or what?
Not constantly because we don't run force middle at all. So
There's some information for us.
uh,
We're gonna get a one-way. We're getting one-way force against Truck.
yeah, no, I'm setting y'all up. We've been working on force middle the past 2 months
4D
just for y'all.
chess. 4D chess.
No, we don't run a bunch of force middle, but we've been practicing against our like force middle-esque kind of marking scheme for the past couple weeks, and then in the AUDL, a couple of teams ran force middle against us, so we practiced at Breeze stuff against force middle. But I think we're feeling pretty good about what spaces we want to attack against a force middle. So if y'all just want to do your one-way force, I think that might be the way to go.
No force. How about that for you?
No
Straight
force.
up.
No
Just-
force is the future.
I agree.
No force is the future. Yeah.
I agree. That would be fun. That would be a fun way to play. It would take so much intelligence, though. Like, you're going to have some real heady. I think it'd be so cool, though, to try to play that with, you'd have to have a bunch of really smart defenders out there because it really would fuck with the people downfield. But imagine if the mark could just do whatever it felt like is correct.
Yeah. The real future is not looking at the mark when you're marking, looking downfield and shuffling to take away whatever card is coming to you.
Yeah, or just being
being
like way more flexible about it. I mean, I do think that's something that like higher level defenders understand that maybe most people don't, but sometimes you always need to take away the most dangerous threat, and sometimes that means you need to leave the person with the disc unmarked, and that is like a tough concept for some people. Like the situation I'm thinking about that happens all the time that kind of like annoys me is when there's a huck and like someone catches it on the end zone and they're getting marked, and then like that trail person is running down and you're like, leave the person with the disc and guard the person in the end zone. Do not continue to mark. Like, you are not going to do anything. And like the people that don't do that, wow, that is not a good sign for me.
You don't know how good their marks are.
Yeah. I don't care if it's an unguarded person in the whole end zone. No one's mark is that good. Like, it just doesn't matter. It's so funny to me whenever I see that. Sometimes it's probably just laziness. Other times it's just ignorance. But that's funny.
Cool. Any final questions here for Box?
Not
I mean,
unless
I
he has
maybe
any
just
questions for us.
I would just ask what is your mindset? Like, you personally, like, how do you get prepared going into a big tournament? Like, what do you like to do? Like, what do you feel like your mindset is going into something like this? That obviously is so hugely important in our lives. It only happens once a year.
So mindset going in, so I'm like a pretty mellow person generally. So leading up to everything up to the card ride to the fields, I'm still that same mellow person who's like cracking stupid jokes and just kind of vibing. When I get to the fields, I think kind of a switch flips after I put in my contact. I'm like, okay, it's game time now. Kind of like Superman when he like takes off his cape. It's me with
That's funny.
And then from there, mindset sort of shifts to, okay, I will be present. Like, my mind kind of empties out, and I say to myself, I will be present for the next 2 hours, no matter what happens. And then I have like my pregame rituals. A lot of us on truck drink like this beet juice. So I drink some beet juice, drink a Red Bull.
Red Bull. I was about to ask if you're a Red Bull guy.
Yeah, it started last year. And I think pretty good results.
Oh yeah,
I'd say so.
So yeah, drink the beets, drink the Red Bull, start our warm-ups, and then by the time we hit one way, we do this like one-way mini drill. And there are a few matchups on truck who I'll try and get before a big game because we kind of fire each other up and we match up well against each other. I'm thinking of like Charlie McCutcheon, Alexander Fall, Luke Grayfish, Troy Holland, people who defend me a lot in practice, and we try and I try and bring up the level of play during that one-way mini, even though that's still like 45 minutes until the game starts. And then from there, it's just a steady ramp until I'm on the line, and then I get very nervous before the game starts. Like I'm going to be present and empty out my mind for like 30 seconds on the line before that first pull, I'm just like shaking. And then it's usually after that first touch I get that I sort of get back into that present mind
You
state.
settle in.
Yeah.
Do you have any pre-nationals rituals? Like before you go to San Diego, anything you like to do? Like I like to get a haircut and a massage before I go to nationals. Just to get right before.
So I've been cutting my own hair for the past like 10 years.
That's crazy.
Wow.
So
That's actually
I always
crazy.
give myself I always give myself a haircut like the Tuesday night or Wednesday morning, whatever works best before flying out to San Diego. So you gotta look good for the streams.
So you're good with a pair of clippers?
Pretty good,
Could you give me
unless you tell me otherwise.
Could you give me a taper in San Diego? I'm trying to get cleaned up a little bit.
If you're willing to come out to
The truck house,
our Airbnb, come through. It's the first haircut's always free.
All right.
It's pay what you think it's worth. So
that's funny. Do you guys just have one Airbnb for the whole team?
We have two. We have like an Airbnb that will house like 12-ish people, and then another one that will house like another 20 or so.
Sweet. That's super cool.
Yeah, about 15 minutes apart, so pretty close.
Yeah, that's awesome. Exciting. Very exciting.
Yeah. So this is my time to ask questions.
If you got anything, yeah, I'd love to.
Yeah. So what's that Bravo offense gonna be like?
I wish we knew. I wish we knew.
Yeah, you probably know just as much as we do. So we'll see when the time comes.
You're asking all the right questions, man. We've been asking that too for about a few months now, I think.
Let me take some notes here. What do you think my matchup plan was? What I was saying accurate?
You'll get some
speedsters.
Speedsters, yeah. After I said that I don't think speedsters are good for you, you'll get speedsters. We'll probably put Saeed on you just to rough you up a little bit.
Yeah, ruffle.
We're gonna come out swinging. Saeed's a puncher.
He's a biter. He's actually not. That's rude. He's a stomper. He'll stomp on your.
He'll stomp you.
He'll stomp those. He'll get on those. He'll decleat you once or twice for sure.
All right.
Yeah,
all written down.
Our season-long offensive strategy is to have a different strategy every other game. Keep the minds malleable, so hopefully the guys will be ready to go.
We're like
that's smart. That's unscoutable.
Yeah, if we don't know what we're doing, neither do you. So,
yeah.
We're like a super feel team, like we like kind of like you're in a dark room and you want to find something, but you can't see it. So you just are like feeling around until like once you feel it, you'll know what it is. And you're you're there. We just got to keep crawling.
You'll see a lot of this on the line.
This is kind of a joke, but also in our playoff game for Summit, we'd been running an offense all year, and we literally changed our offense the day before the playoff game, or like the week before for the playoff game for the Summit, and then we lost. So, you never know, man.
I mean, you win some, you lose some. You change up the strategy, you keep it going. It means you're due for a good win.
It'll feel all the sweeter.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, anything else for us, Box?
I don't think so. Looking forward to seeing y'all and playing against y'all very soon. First thing Thursday morning.
Game. Can't wait.
So exciting.
All right.
Cool.
Yeah, you healthy, Alex?
Maybe.
All right. Keep us guessing.
He creaked. We have a creek in Boulder that has nice cool water. So
and medicinal properties.
Yeah.
Magical medicinal properties.
Oh, he's been in the spring.
I may be a little green when I show up to nationals and super veiny.
Awesome. Well, yeah, thanks so much for joining us, Box, and safe travels out to San Diego, and we'll see you out there first thing next Thursday morning.
Yep, see y'all. Thanks for having me.
Peace, guys.
See ya.
Next up, we have Lizzy Lohre from Scandal. Lizzy, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well. Yeah. Just came from a DC Spirit game, which was the NWSL team here in DC, but sadly they lost, so won't be
Bummer.
going further in the playoffs.
Unfortunate.
Damn.
Unfortunate. So, how are you feeling going into national? I mean, this is a big year for you guys, the one's overall seed. How are you feeling as a team going in? What are expectations like? How are you managing that? What are your thoughts going into nationals this year?
Yeah, I mean, I think we are super stoked going into nationals. I think the team this year has just been building kind of throughout the season. And I think one of the things we're most excited about is honestly that we have yet to play our best ultimate this season. So I think the fact that we are seeded number one and that we have performed so well when we know that there are things that we could do better is kind of like, it's actually like something that we take encouragement from and have been working on, like fine tuning the rest of those things to like perform our best at nationals when it, really matters.
Sweet. And then kind of just games you're most excited for. It could be in pool play. I know you guys got Brute Squad as your 2 seeds. That's pretty fun. And just like other games that maybe you're looking forward to playing. It could be in bracket. It could be pool play.
Yeah, well, I think it's interesting. I think this is my 8th or 9th nationals, and this is the first time I've ever been a 1 seed. And it's also like, of all the years to be a 1 seed, like it really doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It matters
Yeah.
to be a top 4 seed, but like in terms of the 1, not as important. But I am a firm believer that like getting to be tested early in a tournament can be super helpful. And so I'm looking forward to facing Brute Squad. I have a bit of a history against Brute Squad, having played on Molly Brown for 5 seasons, 4 of which were ended by Brute Squad in semifinals of nationals. So, the Brute Squad looks different. I'm obviously on a different team now, but I still like look forward to that matchup. I think that's Brute is always like a historically very strong team. It'll be fun. We've played them earlier this season, but they have some components that haven't been there, like primarily Levka.
Yeah.
So I think we're excited to see them in their top form too. Excited slash, some people might be a little bit more bitter than others about that. But I'm looking forward to that. I think Schwa is also a team that's like historically been very fun to play. And also is fun from a personal standpoint for me because my younger brother Will, his girlfriend Rachel is on Schwa, so there's a little bit of a like family rivalry element to that game,
That's fun.
which is a lot of fun. And then I think depends on obviously how brackets play out and stuff, but Phoenix, we've had like a bit of a rivalry with Phoenix this year and like last year. And so I look forward to getting a chance for a little bit of revenge if we get to see them at some point.
Yeah, love it.
Tournament. Yeah.
When we were talking to Nee, she was mentioning that just like Brute Squad is their biggest rival, and it's good to hear that that's a thing across the board.
Yeah, well, it's stuck. My
Yeah.
Colorado
Oh
roots.
yeah.
I may
So
live
re-
with 2 former Brute Squad players, but that does not make my
Oh, interesting.
Were they on the Brute Squad teams that eliminated you?
Well, yeah. So I live with Cammie Groom and Claire Trope.
Oh,
no way.
So Cammie was for sure. Claire was not. Yeah, Claire was on Riot.
just a wee baby.
Yeah, just a
back
wee.
then.
It's so young.
How about moving on from teams to players? Are there any specific players you look forward to seeing at nationals and potentially matching up against?
It's a good question. I mean, I've been around the ultimate scene for a long time, so I think one of my favorite parts of nationals is just getting to see a bunch of people that I have played with and against, or that Will and Ben, my brothers, have played with and against for many years. My role is a little different this year. Like I'm on D line this year, which historically I've been on O line. So like I feel like the matchup conversation is a little bit different when I get to like be matching up on people. But yeah, I don't know. I think don't want to give away any strategy things.
You're not the only one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I look forward to like Fury is a team that like I really enjoy playing. I think they have like a lot of really like obviously have a lot of really talented players, and I think just getting the opportunity to like match up against whoever I end up my role also shifts depending on what we need. So, handlers, cutters, people, I'll be guarding. I mean, similarly, like Brute, like there's just a lot of people I've played against for a long time. So it's fun to like get to have some of those matchups.
What's the mentality shift been like from O to D for you? Has that been tough at all?
I think it's interesting because like I have always enjoyed playing both offense and defense, but I think like I've viewed my skills as being more offensive than defensive necessarily. And so I think part of that was just being like my value as a player is like I obviously can defend people as well. And I like the mentality, like the D-line mentality of being able to like have a matchup and like scout them and then know that your job is to like stop them from doing what they want to do. And I think that's always a fun challenge. And they're going to get the better of you sometimes, you're going to get the better of them sometimes. And so it's like definitely a different, I think like the game mentality too is a little different. Like from the offensive standpoint, it's like, okay, I know our like pull plays or whatever, but the D mentality, like you're doing a lot of more internal work, I think, from a preparatory standpoint offensively. Whereas on defense, obviously you learn your defensive schema and things like that, but it is a lot more geared on like, oh, what is the other team trying to do? Like, how do we shut that down? So I think that's like been a fun, like strategical shift, is like really digging into matchups or like what offenses try to do and like, how do we, shut that down. So
yeah, I feel like most of the folks we talk to on the pod are probably more O focused players for whatever reason.
a little biased out there.
I don't know. The other 3 people we had on today were all D-line players.
Yeah, that's
true. But we are kind of O elitists. There's a bunch
we
of
definitely
O-line
are.
players
Definitely
over
are.
here.
Yeah, we definitely are.
I've in my now 20 how long have I been playing?
Grandpa.
20, ish years playing. It's been mostly offense, but and with a few sprinkles of defense every once in a while. And I'll get into it, but it really hasn't been until honestly now that I'm a Grandmasters player where I've really relished it. And I think part of it is because why is Kin's laughing so hard? I don't know.
Because it took you a while, dude. Now that I'm in Grandmasters, I can enjoy it.
I'm sure part of it is this component of now I'm athletic relative to the people that I'm playing against. But I think like when you fully buy into it, though, it's a different game. It's really rewarding, and I enjoyed it because I get to also think about different matchups too. I won't go too in depth in it because nobody gives a shit about the Grandmasters division, but
come on,
it was fun this year.
All your fellow Grandmasters are out there.
Yeah,
that's true.
You're missing out on a whole market segment here.
Oh yeah.
I mean, what you're saying is like, it sucked playing defense until you were guarding 4-year-olds. I guess.
Yeah, basically. Okay, shall we move on to the next one?
All right, moving on. Has Scandal talked about any goals? Like, what would a successful tournament nationals look like for you guys as a team? Obviously, there's a lot of pressure on you, or maybe not. I don't know, but it would seem like it as a number 1 overall seed. Like a lot of expectations. Have you guys talked about that? Like, how are you handling that? And what are some of those goals that you have as a team?
Yeah, I think it's an interesting point. Because there's a lot of like Scandal has a really interesting mix of players who have been playing for a while and have been like to nationals many times and have been in these like high like stress like scenarios or big games. But then we have a good chunk of people who have never been to a national like a national semifinal. Never, like I have never made it past a national semifinal. And so I think there's like a good mix of experience, but then also still kind of an underdog mentality of like, hey, there's a lot, like, it's not like we are Fury or a team that's been there over and over again, year after year. And so I think there's a lot of excitement to just, kind of see how far we can go. And we have like a really talented roster. Like we have amazing depth. And so like really trying to figure out like how to use that to our advantage and make the most of things. I think it's hard. I like going into a tournament as the 1 seed. Like if you end up anywhere other than winning the tournament, you will have like technically, like fallen below seed. So like that's definitely an interesting element, and it's hard to like get away from that entirely. But I think our team in general has done a really good job of like being, in the moment where we are and trying to like play our best ultimate. And, hopefully if we take it one game at a time, we can, get through to the championship would be the ideal.
Totally. Yeah, and I think that's so interesting because it's similar. Like in your division, like you said, yeah, you guys are the number 1 seed, but I feel like most people, they're so used to like Fury, being the one that's like gonna win, and like I mean, even last year was so shocking. So like it's weird to have that number 1 overall seed, and I think it's similar in the men's division as well because you have Truck who's a 1 seed, but I feel like most people think Pony is probably gonna win, even though Truck has played so well during the past couple regular seasons. So
Is there something in recent history that would make you doubt that Truckstop would win as the 1 seed?
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, that Pony squad looks pretty good, man. But
no, I'm Truckstop all the way. Come on, Truck.
Really? Are you really?
Yeah.
What about Rhino?
Well, I gotta cheer for my Rhine bro.
What about Bravo?
Yeah.
What about Bravo in the history with the
know.
Lohre family and Johnny Bravo? Come on.
Yeah.
There's a long story, a history career of Lohre's and Bravo, but last time I checked the roster, I don't remember seeing one.
When was the last time there wasn't a Lohre?
But the remnants of the Lohres are still, they're all over the place on the team.
Oh yeah. I mean,
There's just
Lohre fingerprints all over.
Even though the physical names aren't there, the fragments of their. Yeah.
Yeah. When I think the last time a Lohre wasn't on Bravo would have been 2014 or something like.
Yeah, 14. I guess Ben's first year was 15.
It was 15.
Yeah, 15.
So like 9
That's
years.
all it takes, and then you're just done. Right after they're gone, you're just off the bandwagon.
Exactly. You're going to like hot air balloon in Japan or something. It's tough out there. Someone's got to do it.
Is that what he's doing right now?
No, I think it's actually after nationals that he'll leave, but he will be hot air balloon in Japan in the near future.
But I will say, if I'm not rooting for the local Molly Brown team, it would be sweet to see the Lohres complete the family championship.
That's what I'm saying. Ben and Will go out and win last year, and I'm like, I can't be the only Lohre.
Hello, yeah. That's
it's tough out here.
That's funny.
Yeah, it is
funny. And then kind of switching back to like a personal standpoint, what's your mindset going in to nationals? Do you have any maybe traditions that you do before you leave, or meals you eat, haircuts? I don't know, anything like that.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think like sports, for being like a very like kind of rituals driven area in a lot of ways, I find like I feel like I'm pretty flexible. I don't, there isn't something where it's like, this is my routine. I need to do X, Y, and Z in order to prepare. Maybe that's something I can work on to like strengthen my own mental game. I'm like, I see all those Olympians like visualizing their slalom.
Yeah.
But no, I just think I like genuinely really love getting the opportunity to play at nationals. I think it's like easy after being in like an elite club for a long time to like lose some of that just like joy of being there, and the fact that like, hey, the vast majority of teams seasons like ended 2 or 3 weeks ago, and we're still like out here getting to play. So I think one of the things that I try to do is just like cherish those moments and like getting to the, pulling up to the fields and like the misty morning and being like, hey, this is super awesome. Like we are part of, the top 48 teams in the country. And like, there's not that many people who get to experience this. And I think from being around Ultimate for a long time and having experienced this too, like we've got 3 people on Scandal who like have never been to like club nationals before. And so just trying to like make sure, like I'm all about like good vibes and team hype. So like, making sure that people are having the best experience as they
Yeah.
can and trying to like set us up for success as much as we can. And yeah, I don't know.
Are you guys a music team on the sideline or pregame or anything?
I mean, we have Boomy, our little boom box that we like make sure to have playing at during warm-ups and stuff. But
yeah, you mentioned vibes, so I was curious. Like, is there a song that
what kind
that
of
y'all
genre
like?
are we talking
what
about
are we
here?
working with on the music side?
Oh, that's a good question. It's a lot of
a good
pop.
question.
It's a lot of I think I put some Avicii on our warm-up list,
Sure, yeah.
I feel like that's an underrated question because you can find out so much about a team. Like, what are they listening to pregame? Because like,
I mean, we have a Spotify playlist that people could like toss songs on.
Yeah.
So like a bit of a variety too, because you'll get.
Wait, can
Even
we look
that
at the
speaks
Scandals
so much, yeah.
Spotify playlist?
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll clip Scandal's
not be
Spotify
public.
playlist right now.
That's a good
yeah.
question we should ask. I wish we had asked more of the other teams that because
Yeah,
you could learn
I mean,
so much about them just by
I
what
honestly,
they're listening to.
we might not have won nationals last year if it weren't for Fred again. Just to be honest,
I don't know, dude. That seems like a hot take. I played like Leon Bridges before the machine game, and we did really well.
That's a good point. But halftime, we had Fred again on. I remember.
I mean, Fred again definitely cultivated us as a
Yep.
as a squad. Just
Yep.
it was a good time. But I don't like this year it's like we play weird music. I don't necessarily enjoy it. That's all I'm gonna say. I said it.
Was the Fred again the like no more dancing or whatever?
Yeah.
We've lost dancing. Yeah,
We've lost dancing.
Sorry, Fred again.
We've lost it. Okay, it's not.
There's
not there's no more of it. We can get it back.
We can get it back.
You can find it eventually. It's just
some would say we found it, but it's just like, all right, let's move on now. That was last year. There's new music coming out. There's new people. Listen to new music. Like there's like people that sing and like play instruments. It's just that.
That's all I listen to every day. So whatever.
And just on repeat.
Oh yeah.
He's living in the past.
Again.
But it comes back again. How about any advice for young? You were talking about all those teams that are not as fortunate to have their seasons continue on. Any advice for players or teams that are looking to make it to the next level, or young players in general who just may still be finding the game and figuring out what that looks like?
Yeah, I think it's interesting. I think it's important to know like what you want out of your experience with Ultimate or like with Club Ultimate, because I think that's a huge piece that's like interesting, and I've been thinking about too with some of our like newer players on Scandal, or like thinking back on my like first couple club seasons. It's like if you want to try to play elite club, it can be really tough. Like the first couple seasons, especially like for me, like coming out of college or something, like it is a very different, and like there's a few exceptions, like Claire Trope wasn't seeing any issues with like playing time or something her first years out. But like for the vast majority of people, you're like taking on a pretty different role and like having to deal with like very different expectations and also like different level of competition. And so I think it's like helpful to think about like what you want from your club experience. And if you really want to like try to push yourself and grow as a player, then like the best opportunities to do that are by like trying out for like these top level teams. And even if you don't make it like the first time you go, like even the tryout experience, you get to like meet players that are like playing at a like higher level and like connect with people. And then, seeking out those opportunities over time, the more exposure you get, the like better you become. I think there's like a very, like you can definitely be kind of like the big fish in the small pond, and that can get you like so it can get you somewhere, but like, I think really, if you want to like play at some of these higher levels, or if you want to push yourself in that way, I think it can be like pretty humbling to be like, okay, I'm going to be like the number 10, number 11, like my first couple seasons on Molly, I was like, okay, I'm like the number 10 player on our O-line, or like 11 player on our O-line. So it's like, I will get in some points,
Sometime.
but it's not going to be much. So yeah, I think and it can be hard. And I think that like a lot of times it's important to like remember to like why you're playing the sport, and like that your value, it's like also good to have like context in that like ultimate isn't everything, and like your playing time or whatever does not reflect on your value as like a person. And also there's so much more to contributing to a team than just like how much you play on the field. So yeah, I don't know, that's some general life advice.
That was one of the better answers we've gotten, I think.
Yeah, that was. Yeah.
100%.
The perspective of from like joining a team and accepting a new role. I think that's something that is very relatable, and I think a lot of people probably struggle with. Yeah, I can think of so many examples.
Yeah, and I think there's like a lot to being like, it can be hard to like feel like you're making mistakes, or like having like, it can be frustrating to be like, oh, I'm not as good as these people, but then like turning that around and being like, okay, I get the opportunity to like practice against these other players like all the time, like that is only going to make me better.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. Like when you have, for instance, when you have like the potentially the best defender in the women's division on your team,
Yeah.
you feel pretty
Yeah.
good at times. You're like, yeah, I am
Yeah,
the
I
best.
think these two can sort of relate to that, with Spicer pounding their asses on the
I was
field
gonna
every
say,
once in a
honestly, the
while.
top two, like I probably live like when you are in a house and like I am,
Yeah.
like not, not to be full of myself, but I'm like a pretty decent ultimate player. I've
Yeah.
played for a long time, and I am like by like a substantial margin, like the most mediocre ultimate player in our house. I'm like, that's no, we all have our different strengths.
Yeah.
That is true.
Yeah. Kins, you have what are you typing out there? Do you want to ask this question?
Yeah. I was just wondering, obviously you guys have played really well this year. What do you think are some reasons for the, good season, like as a team to be playing well? I don't want to jinx it too much before nationals, but just
Exactly.
because I guess the regular season is only so much. But obviously, you guys have been playing really well. You've been beating a lot of good teams. Like, what do you think has led to some of that as a team? Like, just if you can talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, I think we have a lot of players on our roster that I think are unheralded, or have like had like served in roles that were like kind of smaller, or like that haven't allowed them necessarily to like maximize their own potential as ultimate players. And I think this season, like, there have been so many players on Scandal that like have leveled up in a way that's like so awesome to see, where it's like getting to like the US Open and having like Lisa Dang like take over as like an every other handler in some of these like tough situations, like things like that, where it's like we knew like there was never a doubt that like Lisa was a talented player or something, but just like seeing that, or like having Blaise Sevier, this is like her first year in the club women's division. She's played rally like in the mixed division in the past too, but like getting layout blocks on Obi Payne, like things like that. It's like a lot of little pieces where people have really been like getting fired up and are like excited to play, and have been like rising to the occasion, has been what I think has been the primary part of our success, is just having a lot of people that like the team has built up over the season to allow our players to like maximize their own potential. And it like helps a lot to like be practicing against some of the like best
Best of the
defensive
best.
pressure or best
Yeah.
offensive players, that we'll see. So yeah, it's fun to like have that kind of collective leveling up, like, because I think a lot of times it can be like a couple players will kind of have their moments and then everyone, but like I feel like the general like level of the team has really risen over the course of the season, which has been cool.
It's really cool.
Fortuitous timing.
Yes. So hopefully, we're still on the upward trajectory.
Yeah.
Still on that upward trajectory.
Sweet.
You ready?
Moving into the finer things segment. Lizzy, you got something?
Oh, the finer things.
I'll do the intro here.
Okay.
So we're moving into the finer things segment here again. It's presented by Kiko Socks. Experience a finer moment with a fresh pair of Kiko socks. Does somebody want to start? Does somebody have a good one?
I have a lame one this time.
Yeah, that works. Lame is good.
yeah, that works. That's great.
Let's not judge our finer things.
Yeah, exactly. It's yours, Mike.
Well, I've actually had another one about traveling, and I've been sitting a lot in my chair today, and I can feel my knee getting a little rackety.
Oh my god!
But
Did you
so
Grandmaster? Sorry, I'm just
Grandmaster.
Yeah, exactly. I'm a good athlete, everybody. No, but I just getting an aisle seat, but not just an aisle seat for me. It has to be on the left side of the plane, so my right leg can hang off into the aisle slightly, because I need to straighten my right leg and pop my knee, and like it is the most satisfying feeling. If I have to go a couple hours without being able to do that, I can't really explain the level of annoyance that I started building up.
That's a good one, Mike. That's not lame. It's very unique. I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes me feel good.
Yeah. Perfect.
The finer things.
Nothing lame about feeling good.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Lizzy.
Lizzy.
What do you got for us, Lizzy?
Okay, so I almost exclusively bike around DC, and it is like one of the finer things to be like any Google Maps ETA or whatever is like maybe 5 minutes less than like driving would be or something, and I can usually cut that down, or 5 minutes more than driving would be, and I can usually cut that down, and it is just so satisfying to just be like cruising on the bike lane, passing all these cars.
Oh yeah.
It's like,
that's really good.
That's a good one.
That's really good.
That's a really good one.
Saving the planet, getting in shape.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Saving the planet, getting in shape, saving time.
Yeah.
Biking.
Oh
You
my
don't have to
god.
pay for parking. I mean,
Woo.
win.
That's really relatable. Boulder is a fantastic biking town. Like you can bike.
It is.
Like I still don't have a car. I bike everywhere. I guess you're biking on the roads next to the cars. Like there's a bike lane.
Yes.
Right. Like because you're going past the cars and like, haha.
Right. Exactly.
Right. She's flipping them all off.
Right. Like
I can just imagine
like
Lizzy.
nice bike paths, but it is so.
You know me. I'm all about.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah.
That's a really good one. I actually, sorry, this is random, but yesterday on the Boulder Creek path, I saw a runner pass a biker. Can I just say that?
Wow.
Because it was crazy.
Was someone fast or was someone
I've
slow?
never.
Really
It was both
Yeah.
extremes.
Oh, okay.
And I believe that has to be the case for a runner to pass a biker
At all time. Yeah.
Like this guy was moving, like he was swimming on land. Like I don't know, he was
That's a new expression for me. I'm not familiar with that.
He really looked like he was swimming, but he really had some pace on him. Like I had to like get on my horse on my bike a little bit to like make sure I passed him. And
You're like, I gotta put him back in his place.
yeah. Oh, I mean, no freaking way. I'm not passing a runner on my bike. Like that
Was it Calvin Kiptum? Is that his name? That new marathon world record setter?
You'd have to show me him. If I don't know, he was really just. It was. I mean, I just bike a lot on that path. You don't see that. That's crazy. Someone running.
Ooh, I will.
Fast.
I do actually. Sorry, I have an addition to my finer things, which is being in DC, like biking around, and you're like, oh, I'm just biking by the Capitol and biking by the Washington Monument, and oh, hi, Joe Biden. I'm like, anyway, that also makes it pretty cool. It's like, wow,
nice.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, that is really cool. Yeah, we don't have any of that here.
But you do have like these things called mountains, which are pretty.
Yeah, that's
Colorado.
That's
Yes, that is true. That is true.
true. Quinn, what do you got for us? Anything today?
Yeah, I got one. I got one. So when you have like a song that you've been listening to for a really long time, and then this is kind of niche. You buy a really nice pair of over-ear headphones. So like something like these. Like these are like very high quality over-ear headphones, and you listen to like your favorite song. Yeah, I know, not a big deal. You listen to like your favorite song, and you can hear new things in the song because of the sound quality from these new
A
headphones.
rediscovery.
A
Yes,
nice
of
audio
like
Headphones
experience.
every time, or can you use the
just
same?
no. It's you can use the same. You can use the same ones. You can return them and get different ones if you want. But yeah, no. It's a
So, like, how often are you buying new headphones?
this is it's a one time thing. It happened once. It's a one time thing. All right.
But
Well,
yeah,
that is
okay.
cool. I mean, like, I
That's
just
a good
I
one.
didn't mean to like
Yeah.
make light of your finer thing. But
I did.
Yeah, that's
Me
fair.
too.
All right, maybe it was a lame one.
No,
but
experiencing
I've done
it-
3 today now.
It's like
No, that is
experiencing
a
it
good one.
through the headphones.
Yes,
Because-
it's the new
After
lens.
you've heard it many times.
Because you know what sucks is like if you want to show someone a song, but it's like, oh, here, listen to it on my phone, and
you're
they,
like,
and they
yeah.
never like it because it's like on
Mhm.
your phone. So like that kind of audio experience, very
Mhm.
good. Okay, mine is for all the restaurant workers out there. I also work at a restaurant, and a very satisfying thing is when you're rolling silverware and you grab a handful of knives and you grab a handful of forks, and by the end of it, you've just coincidentally grabbed the exact same number of both, and so you finish with your last fork, your last knife on the last one. That's a good feeling.
Oh wow.
That's
That
a
is
good feeling.
good feeling.
and
But
I learned recently those are called roll-ups. Is that correct?
Depends, I guess, the restaurant.
Okay.
Some restaurants are rolling them. Some restaurants, maybe they're gonna like fold their napkin and like put the things
But have
in.
you heard that terminology, like a roll-up?
Yeah, totally. A roll up. Yeah.
Because I got to shout out one of my fellow Scandal players, Laurel Oldershaw, is in the industry, as she calls it. And
Yeah.
we were out for like her birthday with a bunch of her other like bartender and like industry friends, and they asked for a roll up. They asked us the frisbee person table for a roll up, like a fruit roll up. Like, they were sitting in like next to ours. So
Idiots.
idiots.
Roll
Now I know. Now I know.
You gotta work in the industry.
That's right.
Gotta work in the industry. So that's my finer thing for the evening.
That one's that's sad. That what that makes me think of is those YouTube videos where it's like a 30 seconds of like satisfying things being like sliced or like people like slicing candy really fast. You know what I mean? They're
Yeah.
people who optimize their jobs.
Yeah, because I mean that like having the same amount of forks and knives, that's a finer moment. But if you had the same amount of forks, knives, and linens to roll it in,
Oh,
then you would
God.
just. But I've never.
That's an out of body.
I've only heard of that, in like the old wives' tales. Like that
Yeah.
doesn't happen every day.
Yeah,
That's
the
like
stuff
folklore.
legends right there.
That's like it happened like once in like the 80s, and we're still trying to recreate it. But it's one day, If you're in the industry long enough, maybe you'll see it once.
All
You
right.
can remember the exact time and date.
Yeah, you got to timestamp that one.
Yeah.
Sweet. Lizzie, thanks so much for joining us. Do we have anything else for Lizzie before we let her go?
I got nothing.
Cool.
Sweet.
Get you some
Sweet.
nice headphones, Lizzie.
Yep.
Yeah.
I know. I'm like sitting there,
Yeah.
all y'all. With
It's
your
worth
fancy
it. It's worth
headphones.
it. It's worth
I
it.
clicked the no headphones thing on the
Yeah.
joining the call. I'll admit it.
Sweet. So we will see you in San Diego here in not too long, a few days.
Yeah.
Enjoy your 6-hour flight. I hope you get there.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Hoping for that aisle seat so that I can. Like,
Yeah,
really-
get
Stretch
that
the right leg out.
exactly.
Up
You
that
find
knee.
that aisle seat and you think of me.
I will.
until the flight attendant bangs into your knee with the drink card.
That's what I was
Don't
gonna
think of
say.
me.
Like that's like the opposite. We could
Yeah.
do like I don't know what a not finer thing, like a kins thing, and that's when like something shitty happens to you.
The Kinzer things.
God, that was a really Atkins moment.
So, anyway,
Cool.
let's
Awesome.
do this again sometime.
Yeah, well,
Lizzy,
thanks for having me. You know?
Of course.
Yeah. I assume you'll be back out in Colorado this winter a little bit. Hopefully.
Oh yeah, gotta
hopefully
get
to
some
see-
skiing
yeah.
in, you know,
Cool.
and see the family, of course.
Of course. Yeah. Alrighty. Thanks again. We'll see you
Yeah.
soon.
Good
Yeah,
luck.
yeah. See you in a few days, and good luck to y'all too as well.
Oh.